Security Administration. And I worked for them for 26 years, up until the point where I got breast cancer, stage 2 breast cancer. I took time off from the job and I ended up retiring. So I never really returned back to work, but I survived the cancer and I've been retired for the last 15 years. And at this point, I just want to do something to help other people that are in the same situation.
Well, thank you. Thank you
You
so much. And I'm so glad that you are a survivor.
Thank you.
So, let's start with the questions. You have the list of questions, and then for everyone else, if you have a question as well, feel free again to unmute and ask Linda, your question. And just a reminder, if you need me to pause the recording, just let me know.
Okay. The first question I received was one that said, "Is breast cancer considered a disability?" Yes, breast cancer is a disability, but for Social Security purposes, it has to be severe enough to keep you from working for a year or more. So this Social Security disability is long term, and you would have to be unable to do any type of substantial gainful activity for at least a year or more for them to approve a disability claim. So the answer is yes, but there's reasons why. You can't just be disabled for a month or two. Some people have cancer and it's curable. Some people have cancer and it's not. And those factors would have to be looked at by medical examiners to make a decision whether it's substantial enough for you to get Social Security. So that was, go
So,
ahead.
Linda, with
Yeah,
that one, are and do all cancers fall into that category? It does. So to answer that, so to ask and add on to that question,
go ahead.
regardless of the form of cancer that someone has, it has to be severe enough to be
Correct.
put on disability. But
That's right.
correct me if I'm wrong, if you're going through treatment,
You can
shouldn't
go,
disability cover the
there's more than
time
one
that you're
kind.
in treatment?
There's state disability that will take care of a person that's being treated and may recover in about 6 months. So that's a short-term disability. That's not federal, state, Social Security disability. In our program or in Social Security's program, it has to be extensive. It has to be where you cannot go back to work within that year. You have to be out for a long time. So some people have treatment and they're fine and they can still go to work while being treated, and others may have conditions or added conditions. Say you have a heart problem plus the cancer, or you have, other physical illnesses plus the cancer. Then they might consider that you can't work because the two things together are too severe. So it doesn't just say because you have cancer, you're disabled. You might be disabled temporarily, not long term.
Okay,
Does that answer your question?
it does.
Okay.
Could I
Interesting.
make a
Gotta love the
comment?
government.
Could I make a comment though?
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay, she's absolutely right. Um, but when you have a very aggressive treatment, which gives you side effects, which happened to me, migraines, my gait was off, I was dealing with a whole lot of issues. Then the doctors kept writing letters to say, this woman is disabled. And so, like Linda, I never went back to work. I got
Okay.
got Social Security and state.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Everybody's different. It's just some people want to push forward and try to get back to work, and some people try and succeed, and some people just don't try, and some people just can't. So they're going to look at that. And if you can, you may not be able to return to the job you had, but can you do something less physical?
Hmm.
So
Okay.
they're going to look at that too. Like you may not be able to be a mechanic, you might be able to sit at a desk.
Interesting.
Yeah. Excuse me. The next question I had was, well, they said, "Hi, I want to know how I can get my breast replaced and can I get disability? So getting your breast replaced is not a disability. If the person is also disabled, the type of disability they have is going to be looked at, not that you want to get your breast replaced. So if you had breast cancer and you had a mastectomy and you want to have the breast replaced, that's not a disability. That's, if your health insurance is going to cover it, that's perfect. If not, you consider paying for it, but for yourself, but you won't be considered disabled while getting the breast replaced because one, they don't take that long to heal. So again, it's not going to be the a year's disability or longer. And the other thing is that's cosmetic. It's not, it's by choice.
So, can I play devil's advocate? I have a question.
Good, go ahead.
If someone is going through the process of having a replacement and they get an infection or
Okay,
something like that,
okay.
is something like that, and say that infection is really, really bad and they're unable to work for an extended period of time, would they then be eligible for some form of disability from SSA, or would that fall under the guidelines of the state short-term or long-term disability?
It's gotta end up in a situation where you're gonna be sick for a year or more. So that
Mm,
could keep you out for 4 months, 5 months, who knows? But it might fall under short-term disability. It may not be as extensive as, a long-term disability. So it's a case by case basis. Is it going to be severe enough? Is it not?
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that can happen. Like anything can happen. You can get infections from injections or insulin, the infusions that they do or anything. But how long is it going to take you to recover is something you have to consider.
Okay.
Okay. I have another question. The person was curious about the breast cancer they wanted to know if breast cancer qualifies them for disability and if they are on two cancer pills for the next 5 years. They filed for disability because of many other health conditions. So breast cancer, again, can qualify you if it's severe enough. And the cancer pills, it's not, they're not actually going to make the difference because many people take like hormone pills for 5 years after having the breast removed and after having the treatment done and all that. But that's not an added disability. That's toward the pills are toward treatment to heal you. So it's just the disability, not the medication, that's going to change your situation. That could qualify you if it's severe enough to
Mhm.
last the year or more. So, and the other health conditions may be a factor that helps you to become eligible for disability. Because if you have, say you have breast cancer and you have a heart issue, heart failure, hypertension, diabetes, these other conditions may put you in a situation where you cannot do any type of substantial gainful activity. So yeah, you could, with the other conditions, get disability.
Wow.
Okay.
They make it so hard.
It's not an easy thing. I mean, look at, we
No.
have to live so long to just get our retirement. To get
Mhm.
disability is a whole nother obstacle. And a lot of people become sick. And that's why we pay disability insurance. So you can get disability
Mhm.
from the state. If it's too severe and going to last longer, then that's where federal Social Security comes in.
Okay.
So,
And I have a question. I know that you have a few other questions, but for
yeah.
someone who may have been diagnosed with stage 4,
Okay.
with any type of stage 4 cancer, doesn't necessarily have to be breast cancer. And we know that that is one of the most aggressive stages of cancer. At what point from the time that they're diagnosed and a treatment is decided, do they figure out whether or not they need to file for disability? And what does that process of filing for disability look like?
Okay. Most times, your own doctor will tell you that you're going to be, out of work for, say, 6 months, 9 months, a year, so we can treat you so you can heal or whatever. If the doctor feels, your personal doctor feels that you might be a good candidate because it's going to take you a long time to get better, that would be the point where you file. Whether you're proven to be eligible or not, it's better to do it at that point because they see in their prognosis, this is going to take a good amount of time. You can file for state disability and Social Security disability. You get one while you're waiting for the decision for the other. And if they see that this is going to be long term, Social Security will probably rule in your favor because stage 4 is severe and your doctor is saying that it looks like you're going to be out of work for a while. That's the time to file for disability.
Okay,
Okay.
that helps. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Another question. They said they were currently receiving disability benefits since 2011, and it was work related. And the question would be, can I receive any additional disability benefits from another cancer diagnosis in 2024? And that's no. The disability benefit you're getting is the disability benefit. It doesn't get any higher. It doesn't change if you have more than one condition. It's based on your work. So whatever your work and earnings provide as a benefit, it's going to be for 5 disabilities or 2. It doesn't change once you get more illnesses. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is breast cancer considered a disability? It is. It's definitely considered a disability. It's just a matter of how severe it is. Is it going to be a disability that stops you from working? Because many of us or many people have returned to work after dealing with disability quickly, 4 months, 6 months, a year later, and some of them can't. So it's where do you fall with that breast cancer? But it's definitely considered a disability.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Did you have another one or?
Yeah, there's another one. Uh, Someone asked, how do they get their breast replaced and can they get disability? That's a personal choice of who you use to replace your breast. Good time to talk to your health insurance and find out if they cover that type of
Mhm.
surgery, and talk to your doctor and see if that's a good thing for you, because some people have a lot of scar tissue and all that, and it may not be a good idea. And some places won't even touch the breast if it's too scarred. But yeah, you can get them replaced, but that's a personal thing.
Mhm.
And you probably won't be able to get disability for replacing them unless something goes wrong with their replacement. Because it's like a optional surgery and it's more cosmetic than it is uh, like a disability that's going to keep you from working. This is a choice. It's not a medical condition that is affecting your health. This is something you want to change.
Mm,
It's like,
interesting.
enhancing your body, even though after breast cancer, your health insurance will cover it, most of them. It's not considered a disability.
Okay.
Yeah.
S- So there's, you hear all these horror stories. You go online and you hear all these horror stories about, oh, my disability application was denied. I need to hire an attorney. Can you kind of talk about the denial process? Do people need to hire a disability attorney? Can you kind of go into details about that? And before you do, I see we have a few others that have joined us. Hello, and thank you for joining us. If
Hello.
we have Linda, she's retired from the SSA, If you have any questions about disability, please let me know. Just as a heads up, I am recording, and if you like for me to pause the recording so that you can answer your question, just simply ask and I will be glad to do so. Okay.
Okay. What was I going to answer about the
Denials, and do you
denial?
need a
Okay.
disability attorney?
There was always a big conversation about everybody gets their first claim denied. That's not always true. If the case is filed and all the documents are there and you do everything you need to do on time, get your medical records to us and all that, the claim can take a good maybe 3 to 4 months to get a decision. And it's not always a denial. People get the attorneys involved usually at the third step. So the first step is an initial. The second step is a reconsideration. The third step would be an appeal. So you would go for a hearing, and then you can have the hearing appeal. You can go further. There's another step. But most people will wait until the hearing stage to get the attorney because they don't want to deal with going up in front of somebody and not being prepared. Like you feel like you need representation that's legal. So that's when they get an attorney, not the initial claim. You can do it all by yourself. The next one is just less paperwork, same claim, goes right back, and a different person reviews it. And they see if the decision that was made first is correct. If it's not, they'll go back and pay you any benefits that you could have gotten from that first moment that you filed. You won't lose anything as long as you keep filing in the proper time frames. The hearings level can go on for a while. It can be a little long, but it's probably at best at that time to definitely get an attorney. You don't have to get them for the reconsideration. You don't have to get it for the initial claim. You can do those on your own because we are, as claims representatives, we're supposed to help you fill out those forms and explain to you the process and get all tell you what paperwork to submit or what medical doctors information to submit. When you get to the attorney level or with the hearing, that's when you want somebody professional, not any time before. Because when you win, they win too. They might have to get paid. So you want to wait until you're forced to be at that higher level of appeal before you get somebody to represent you. So yeah, a lot of people go the whole route by themselves and they don't get an attorney at all. But we think that certain attorneys have been doing this so long that they know the process, they know what to get, they know what documents are needed, and they know what to say. So at the hearings level, they make it easier because the weight's on them and they know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the top 10 reasons? And I know that's kind of broad, but can you give some reasons why disability benefits for cancer patients are denied? Just common denial reasons?
Well, one could be that a person has the cancer, the treatment's working, and they're still able to go to work. They may have, you know, a little lethargic, they might be in pain, but if they're taking the medication they're supposed to take properly and the doctors feel they can return to work, we're going to agree. You can return to work. So it's not, it's just not a sure thing that because you have cancer, you're going to get disability benefits. A lot of people are still functional. And these days, a lot of people are working from home. So you don't have to go back into the job. You can actually find a way to be disabled, heal, take the medication you have to take and be at home where you don't have to be in that hustle and bustle to get back to a job or in traffic or, in an office. So there might be times where you can have the cancer and still be able to function. So it's not all a negative.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Something people buy for their first new baby. Name the state that has the hottest summer.
Mary?
Yes.
Hi, I hear your TV in the background.
Oh, I'm trying to finagle how to work this on
No
my
problem.
cell phone. I didn't make it to my computer.
Not a problem. I wasn't sure if you had a
Okay.
question.
Well,
Hi, Linda.
I had a question earlier. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can, and we can see you. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Um, I'm already retired, getting Social Security benefits retired on retirement. And I was wondering, is there a way to go back in now and say I'm disabled? Because I know people who are getting Social Security benefits under disability are getting more than the ones who took the early retirement.
That's a good question. It's a matter of when you started when you started the retirement and at what point did you become disabled. If there's an advantage to getting a higher rate, then yes, you could do that. But if you're already getting more than what you would get if you were getting a disability benefit, there's no need to make that adjustment.
Okay.
So at what age did you get retirement benefits?
At 62, as soon as I could, at 62.
Okay, and when did you become disabled?
Well, I got the breast cancer diagnosis in 2023, 62, at 66, 67, I'm sorry. At 67 when I got the diagnosis, and I am still just, I've been through chemo and I've been through radiation and I'm having to have 30 rounds um, because of the amount of work in the lymph node area. They had to take 20 lymph nodes. So anyway, I'm on the Verzenio and the anastrozole. It makes me sleepy. I can't there's no way I would be able to do anything. I was doing work on the side with my disability check, but I haven't been able to do anything for the past 2 years because it makes me lethargic, it makes me sleepy. I was late for this meeting because I fell asleep.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, it's so anyway, I don't know. I don't know whether I could go in and get more or not, but I thank God I'm alive. So
Amen.
yeah, I was just wondering.
I would say that at this point, once you hit 65, you got a Medicare card, you have Medicare.
Yes.
That's one of the advantages of getting disability. You would get Medicare
Mm-hmm.
within a year of you becoming disabled.
Mm-hmm.
If your disability is starting at 67, it may not make a difference, but it's a good question to ask
Okay.
and let someone do the comparison of the numbers. Because
Okay.
giving you a little credit, you have all these all these retirement checks you already received. There's going to be a deduction in what the disability benefit would be. So
Mm-hmm.
you may not do any better by switching, but it's a good question to ask.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so you're welcome.
Mhm.
Hi, Nadira. We see you on camera. Hi.
Okay, I think someone else mentioned that they have breast cancer. They don't say which stage it is. They're not certain yet of the stage, but they were just looking to connect with others going through the process. So I'm not sure who mentioned that. It wasn't a real question. It was more just to get connected.
Okay. And for if that person is on, definitely when Miss Pam returns, she will reach out to you directly. But also, we have a wonderful lady who's also on this group, Miss Sonia. And Sonia, between Sonia, Miss Pam, and I, we can reach out to you to see exactly what you need. Um, and just for those of you who are new to the group and who joined us a little late, I'm just going to kind of reintroduce myself. My name is Terry. I oversee the marketing for the Beautiful Gate. So I apologize for all the emails. But the purpose of the being a woman breast cancer support group is really to bring together a community of newly diagnosed patients, survivors, thrivers, and their loved ones. To be part of a community. Our group is a little different. We bring experts like Miss Linda on almost on a monthly basis, based on some of the questions that you all have. So that's why she's here. And we do this, you know, the last Thursday of each month, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So while we have Miss Linda for about another 34 minutes, you know, if you have any questions regarding disability benefits for, you know, any form of cancer, doesn't necessarily have to be breast cancer, but if you have any disability questions, I know how hard it can be sometimes, especially with some of the workforce reductions, maybe getting through. So we have someone who consider her as your personal claim representative for the next 30 minutes. Yeah.
I did actually have one more question.
Oh, okay.
It says, are disability benefits available for me if I'm receiving SSA retirement benefits? So it's kind of what I was just explaining. If you say you filed for disability, no retirement at 62, and then you find out a year later that you're disabled, you can have a new claim filed for disability, and they'll deduct the retirement checks that you got from the disability payment and make your benefit higher. So it's to your advantage to say, I now became disabled if you're meeting that point prior to 65. You want to we want it to be advantageous. So 62, you're retired, and then you say at 63 you get sick. You file for disability. They won't give you their full retirement age or the full disability benefit that you could get. They'll give you a reduced disability benefit and you'll get Medicare within a year. So it's worth it to go back and say, I don't feel well, I want to file for disability. It might be at that point that you can get a higher benefit if you're approved. So there is a point where it's too late and there's a point where it's fine. It's a smart thing to do because you can get a higher benefit.
When is it too late?
It depends on the numbers. Say you got 3 years of checks, it's too late because at 65, you would get your full year's benefit. They're going to reduce the disability by the amount of checks you already got, and you're back to square one. So it doesn't make sense. But if you only got a year of benefits as a retired person and you get disabled, you still have the advantage of getting a higher disability check. So that's the sooner you know, the better you ask the question because you may be entitled to Medicare early and a higher disability check if you haven't gotten too many retirement checks already.
And if you fall into that category, is that decision time frame still 3 to 4 months, or is that decision time frame shorter?
It should be the same frame because you're getting a check. So it really isn't like an urgent thing where people come in and they say, I don't have a job and I need disability and I'm waiting 4 to 6 months. You're at least getting a retirement check while you wait for this new decision. So yeah, the processing time can take the same amount of time, but everything is retroactive to the date, the earliest date that we can pay. So if you became sick maybe 8 months ago, you waited, and then you said, I want to file, we can go back 6 months or 12 months from the time you filed to pay you any benefits we could have paid you. So we'll just make an adjustment in your payment and pay you the higher rate. So it's always a good question to ask.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Does anyone, Miss Nadir, I see you unmuted. I take it you have a question or two.
Yes, my work-related disability came in 2011, and it was not the full amount of the disability, and then I got cancer in 2014.
Okay.
So, am I eligible to go back and ask for additional benefits since the cancer came in 2014, and then in 2024, it came back as a stage 4.
Hmm.
Okay. When you started getting benefits, you got benefits from the employer or you got benefits from Social Security?
From Social Security.
Okay. The benefit that you get is based on your work, not based on the amount of conditions that you have. So if you're dealing with one condition now and you get worse, or you get a new condition later, it doesn't change the rate of your check.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hi, Terry.
Hi.
Gail, how are you?
Good. See, we're family here.
I see. Nice though.
We are here for each other. Does anyone else have any questions? Miss Jeanette or Sonia or Leonard or Simone?
No.
Not at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay. So, Linda,
Yes.
I know we're talking about disability benefits for cancer patients. What are
Right.
some reasons that someone's disability, or could someone's disability benefits be cut off or stopped?
Okay. There are different reasons. If a person decides to try to go back to work and they're still getting disability, they have a period of time where they will allow you to work. But if you go over that period of time and you're still able to earn a substantial amount of money, they can stop your benefits or review your claim to see if you're still disabled. So work is an issue where you could get your benefits terminated if you return to work. Another reason is if you are being treated and you refuse to be treated, there can be an issue with your benefits. If you stop going to like mental health or something, like say it's a mental condition and you don't go to get treatment, they can review your claim and say that you haven't been back to your therapist or your psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever. And that's part of the reason why you're disabled. So they can review your claim and say you've improved or you failed to get the treatment that you're supposed to get so you can continue to get disability benefits. So there's that's another way. If you're not taking the treatment that you're supposed to take, they can stop your benefits. Your benefits are reviewed periodically. And while they're looking at it, they get updated medical information, see if things have changed, see if you're following the procedures that you're supposed to follow with the doctor. If they find you're not, they can suggest that the benefits be stopped until you do the things that you're supposed to do.
Wow. So would the person receiving the disability benefits receive a notification before they're stopped? Like, what does that communication look like?
Yes, you would get a review. And if you come to the review and paperwork is filled out and someone feels that you're not handling, your treatment the way you're supposed to, or you're not doing the things, or you return to work and you didn't tell us, or you return to work and you're still able to do a certain amount of work and earn a substantial amount of money. Substantial is 1620 per month. So if you can earn 1620 per month or more consistently, that's considered substantial work. Those things will be discussed. They'll send you a letter saying, based on the information we talked about, your benefits are going to be terminated based on the facts. And they'll tell them when it's going to be terminated. You have an appeal time. So you can say, I disagree. This is what the case is. So you have time to actually make a rebuttal. But yes, periodically, in some cases never really get reviewed. Some claims do get reviewed based on the conditions that you have. And some of them get better after a period of time, and some of them are just going to be, till death or terminal or just not going to change. So it's depending on the type of disability that you have, whether or not they're going to review your claim.
I mean, it seems like there's just so many intricacies involved, from the time that you file to the time that you may no longer need the disability benefits. And,
Right.
it just seemed like there's so much red tape, that comes with it. So when you all pull the medical records, that's you all have access to the medical records, so the doctors are sending those. And
Yes.
what documentation are the patients or their family members required to submit?
They have to fill out a form that updates their medical situation. So it's like a medical form. They fill it out. If there's anything they want to add, like this has changed, or get records from their doctors to say things are still the same or gotten worse, they can do that. But once they submit that form for the review, that case gets sent out to a medical review and it comes back whether they think this person has improved or has not improved. And that will start whether we're going to continue your benefits or we're going to start the process to stop the benefits. So,
Okay.
yeah, you get good notice that these things are going on. And as long as you respond timely and do your part, decision usually is the right one because they're going to know whether you've gotten better or you've gotten worse or you've returned to work.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. It's just, whew,
Yes.
you would think that now in 2025 that things would be a little bit easier, but
Mm,
doesn't appear to be that way.
no, with everything being electronic, it's so much easier. Remember, the same way we as Social Security gets your information about you working
Hmm.
from, employers through your Social Security number, we get information from your employers to make your earnings record. It's the same way we find out people have started working and did not tell us. And when you fill out the review for your medical, your claim, that's how we find out you've gotten better. Because some people say, "Oh, I don't do this. I don't take any more medicine. I don't have treatment anymore. I'm back at work." And that's usually what it is. Once they get better, they go back to work. And some people won't tell you they've gone back to work. And only your doctor is going to say the person is actually responding well to treatment and doing better and able to do light duty or desk work or something, not too strenuous. So
Okay.
this is how they find out it's time to make a change in your claim.
So it's the patient's responsibility to notify Social Security that they are returning to work so that they don't have a situation that we've seen in the news a few times where they've been overpaid and have to pay it back.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
If you know first, yes. If it's something we find out during the review and say you didn't know, the doctor is saying I'm doing so well that this might mean I can go back to work. Once we see the medical records, we'll know that it's time to consider you going back to work. But yeah, a lot of people don't always tell you right away that they return to work. They want to try and see if it's okay before they say anything. But you wait a good year, your earnings are going to be reported to us, and that's a red flag. You just earned $30,000, $40,000. Are you back at work? And that's how we review your claim for work. If we get earnings reported on your record when you're not supposed to be working.
And so then you all will go through the steps of trying to get that money back.
Right. If it needs to be, if it's there's so many little small things that you can do. If you go back to work and you stay at work for say 6, 7 months and you get sick again, you can have you can get a break. They will not do anything if it's shown that you went to work and stopped within a 9 month period and was not able to continue to work because of that same condition. They will ignore that work. So it's always better to tell them because you can get a trial work period and then you can try to do some work. If it doesn't happen to be successful, you go right back to getting your disability. It never stops and you won't be penalized for trying.
Can you explain that trial work period in more detail? Like how long is it? And I take it it's 9 months.
It's 9 months.
Okay.
you they do a few things. They can put you on a like a work program. You go into a program where you get a job, you earn a certain amount per month, and they see that you can do it consistently and say it's not successful after the 9 months or 9 months was all you could do, you can stop and then you can try another work period. So you can, as long as you keep in touch with us and we know you're working, we can keep you under this program where you can try to work and stay under a substantial amount and still get your Social Security benefits. So it's better for you to tell us that you're going to work so that we can get you in the program to work. You get what you call work tickets. You're allowed to do this. And we're on board with you. We want you to get back to work, but you want to tell us so that it doesn't affect your check negatively if we find out after the fact, because we're going to assume the worst. You can make $40,000, but you made it in 3 months. We're going to go ahead and say that's okay. But if you make $40,000 and you work 12 months, it's not okay
Mm.
because you've gone over that 9-month period. It's no longer a trial. You're actually showing that you can return to work. So that gets really intricate and that it's case by case, and you have to actually sit down and discuss a plan of how you want to get back into the workforce.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't realize that program existed,
yeah.
the trial work period. Are there any other programs that people may not be aware of who are on disability for an illness? So,
There is
just like
something
that
else.
program?
There is, I'm going to tell you if I have it. It's something I never heard of. And I'm going to have to get it and get back to you about it because I think, wait a minute, let me just look it up real quick.
And
As
while
in-
you're looking it up, it's like the website can be overwhelming. The whole process can be overwhelming.
Right, right. It
Yeah.
is. It's usually easier when you know something about the program that you know what you're looking for. When you just go looking, it starts to be too much. It's too much to understand because there's different words that they use, and one thing means this, and something else might confuse you because it's said, but it means something else. It's just there's a whole lot of different things you need to know to stay on course. But yeah, I just saw it today. I don't see it now. Okay, it's calling Achieving a Better Life Experience account. I've never heard that. The one I just talked about is the Ticket to Work program, and that's where they monitor your work and you're allowed to work for 9 months and make a substantial amount. This one is called Achieving a Better Life Experience, called ABLE, ABLE, and it's a tax advantage savings account for a person with a disability. So that's something to do with more like SSI.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think disability, yeah, you can be entitled to disability also, yeah. So it's a way of saving money, and SSI doesn't concern themselves with that money, and you can actually save up to $100,000. And I've never heard that, but it's new.
Hmm.
It's called ABLE.
Okay, let me find that and put that in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, it
Able
says
account, Social
it's called,
Security.
yes, ABLE account. And it's with SSI, you have to pretty much be at poverty level. And you can't have a savings account of any great level of money, but this allows you to have up to and including $100,000, and it doesn't count against you as a resource. And I've never heard that.
Okay.
So that's pretty interesting.
Is that able now?
Is it able now?
Is that the website able now or
Does it say better life experience?
no, different
Achieving,
one.
no, it's achieving a better life experience.
Okay. The administration. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to drop this in the chat for everyone.
Okay,
Yeah, what I had was not the right one.
okay.
Okay. So I just put that in the chat. And then I have another question, unless someone else has a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Just trying to see. Okay. With the workforce reductions, Um, is SSI fully staffed now? So that like if because it's frustrating when someone, and you've been through this, when someone is diagnosed with cancer and they're focused on it, we kind of talked about this earlier, they're focused on treatment and healing, along with everything else. Um, it's kind of frustrating when you call a agency and you're constantly on hold.
Right.
Can you kind of talk about that process? Like, is there a callback program, you know, for someone who's calling to file for disability or even ask questions about disability? In hospitals, for example, they have like a patient navigator who's there to kind of help answer any questions you have before start down that road. Does
Right.
SSI have any positions like that to
I
assist patients?
Because I've been disconnected for 15 years, things have
Hmm.
changed so much in the way we process or help people or even become available to answer questions like that. A lot of things now are done by appointment and over the phone. You can even file your own claim without talking to anybody. So, as far as whether they have a particular person available, once you get the name of a person, keep the name of that person. They may not be the person that processes your claim, but you can constantly ask for them so they know your story. But once you get someone that's processing your claim, that's the person that you're supposed to ask those questions of. And like I said, everything now is make an appointment, do it over the phone, or help yourself by doing it on the internet. It's a whole lot of being self-sufficient versus people being available.
Okay,
So,
that helps
yeah,
answer that question. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. Sonia, Miss Jeanette, Leonard, does anyone else have any questions?
No, I have a comment though.
Go
Um,
ahead.
th- and this guy, he helped me a lot, and I pass it on to others. There's a YouTube, and this gentleman's name is Dr. Ed. Linda may know him. He worked in the Social Security office. He had a pretty high level position, and he's constantly coming on asking, dealing with these kind of questions and more. Like he'll tell people when they should
This
decide,
YouTube channel is for you.
huh? What what they say?
Go
He
ahead.
he has a wealth of information. He
Okay.
really, really does, because he's trying to help widows who didn't know they were entitled.
Okay.
Say they were divorced. They
Right.
didn't know that if they had been with this person for X number of years,
Right.
that they're still entitled. You
Right.
know, he just gives great information.
Wow. Do you know his last name?
Ed Ware, I think is his name. Weir.
That was the voice you heard. My apologies. I dropped it in the chat, his YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's funny.
And thank you for sharing his information, Sonia, because, this is frustrating. And again, Linda and I talked about this earlier.
Mhm.
If you're by yourself and you don't have someone to help you navigate all of this, it can be
Right.
frustrating. So sharing those resources, are very, very helpful.
Yeah.